Meet the world's first artificial intelligence personal robot. She's your welcome friend at any hour.
Good morning, Thomas. Time to get up.
Good morning.
It seems like you had a good night's sleep. 8 full hours and a good resting heart rate.
Thank you.
Your meeting with Jane is at 9:30. I put the coffee on.
She can interface with household devices. And she's also a personal stylist.
What do you think?
Why don't you try the blue tie with it?
Good idea.
She's your world-class office assistant, using artificial intelligence algorithms to analyze data quickly and efficiently.
We plan to run a marketing campaign on the Upper East Side of New York. What do you think about that neighborhood?
This neighborhood has a very promising outlook for this campaign, with 25,000 housing units. Also, 82% of people living there have a college degree.
I think that's the right one for us.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. Thomas has a lunch date with Chloe in 15 minutes. She just posted a bunch of photos on Facebook about her trip to New York.
Thank you.
I just sent the meeting notes to you and Thomas.
As well as your support when you're at your most creative.
Hey, I ordered those paints that you asked for. Also, for lunch, I ordered you some falafel from your favorite restaurant.
You're the best.
She can also be a hands-free helper around the house.
Hey, need some help in here?
Could you pull up a recipe for chicken curry, please?
I'll walk you through it step by step.
Thanks.
First, you cut the chicken into cubes.
She's even a personal security guard,
Watch the house, okay?
able to monitor your home and your energy costs while providing peace of mind with real-time video feeds of every room of your home. She can connect you across the globe to be with your family.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
We wish you were here.
Did you have fun at work?
She can be the life of the party, playing music through internal speakers and photographing moments that will last a lifetime.
Hey guys, let's take a picture of everyone. Smile. 1, 2, 3.
She's also a storyteller, opening up your child's imagination not only with words, but also with colorful environments she creates by adjusting any room's lighting.
And the princess followed the deer towards the enchanted forest.
Once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything. That change is here today, and she's looking forward to meeting you.
Good night.
We've always been using our hands and fingers for counting, taking notes, and various other stuff. Technology expanded and we started using gadgets. People always say that everything is at our fingertips, but it was never so. Not until now. Not until Fin. You see, for the past few months, we've been working on this amazing product called Fin, the first of its kind gesture-based control for all your devices out there. Unlike other gesture-based devices, which are tiring and boring to use, Fin helps you to control any smart device just by moving your thumb over other fingers. Fin is a Bluetooth-enabled device which can control a variety of smart devices. For switching a device to another, all you need to do is tap on your finger. Fin makes life simpler. Now, everything is at your fingertips, and it feels like having magical power. Its possibilities are endless, for playing games, to changing lives for many. To taking business presentations. Fin also comes in handy while you drive. You can answer calls, control the AC and music system without even moving your hands from the wheels. Fin is really amazing when it comes to taking photos or sharing files. And Fin works well with head-mounted devices. Fin, wear the world.
Sense is a simple system that tracks your sleep, monitors the environment of your bedroom, and reinvents the alarm. Sense watches for noise, light, temperature, particulates in the air, and more. With the sleep pill, your movements at night tells you how soundly you're sleeping. If you're disturbed at 3 a.m., you should be able to see if it was your partner snoring or a car alarm that went off. We all have a natural sleep cycle, but a normal alarm will wake you up regardless of when's best for you. With Sense's smart alarm, it knows how to wake you up at the right time, so you don't start the day feeling terrible. If you want to be up by 9:30, but you're already half awake at 9:15, then your alarm should know to go off then, not wait for you to fall deeper into sleep. Here at Hello, we've been heads down for quite a while now building. We're a team of designers, engineers, and operations experts who collectively have built products and services that millions of people around the world use and love. Making world-class hardware and software on their own is hard. Doing these things in concert together, obviously it becomes even more complex. That's why we've assembled a team of the best people to do just that. With the rise of wearables, we've seen that people clearly care about their sleep. But to us, it felt so unnatural to be worrying about putting something on, charging it, remembering to press buttons. We believe that technology needs to disappear. It didn't make sense to us that we've been told to put something on just as we get into bed. Everything with Sense is designed to fade away. You should simply be able to just sleep.
When designing Sense, we didn't want to create something that looked like just another piece of technology. That's easy to do. It's much harder to design a device that feels at home sitting beside your bed every day. It should look like an object that you'd be happy to have there almost regardless of its purpose. For something so natural as sleep, we wanted to design something that felt organic. The spherical form and nest-like structure helped to keep things both simple and strong. To get to where we are today, we've iterated literally hundreds of times. By being able to 3D print and laser cut our way out of almost anything, we've settled on a design that's beautiful and one that also functions perfectly with all the sensors we have inside.
Fitting so much inside such a small space is pretty hard. When you look at what goes inside Sense, engineering everything to fit is a challenge, but it's fun. It's like a beautiful puzzle fitting together perfectly to become strong, sturdy, and to protect everything inside. Objects shouldn't just be designed to look good. They should be designed to last. That's what building things for people is about. With Sense and the sleep pill, we wanted things to stand the test of real life, and we've made sure we did just that.
Sleep is important to literally everyone, so we didn't want to make this product hidden in silence and without your help. We want the Kickstarter community to help us in shaping what we're building as we build it. With your support, we can together help people to better understand themselves and the world around them. We're so excited to build Sense and get it to you.
Hi, we're Bear Conductive. We've been working for the last 2 years as a studio to develop materials and technology that are accessible to everyone. We're here today to show you the most exciting thing that we've done yet, the touchboard. The company was founded around our electric paint. We've seen this material used in some amazing ways, but its most incredible application so far has been its use as a sensor. To get started, all that you need is a battery, a speaker, an SD card, and a touchboard. Connect a bit of our electric paint to the board and you'll have an instrument. Bring a book to life. Turn a wall into a classroom.
A is for apple.
Take your project wherever you want. Use the touchboard without touching it at all. Use more than one sensor to make an instrument. You can hide the sensor. Or you can make a big sensor that detects a whole person. You can use the touchboard with anything that's conductive, from tinfoil to copper, e-textiles, conductive foam, or even a nail. The board is part of an open source universe of Arduino devices, which means that your shields and code will work with it. Start from scratch, or take an existing project to a whole new level. You could use a relay shield to make a touch-sensitive light switch. You could use a wireless shield to make some remote doorbells for everyone in your office. You could add a motor shield and ring a real bell. The touchboard is based off of an Arduino Leonardo with a capacitive touch chip, an MP3 player, and a LiPo battery charger. But the board can also be set up as a MIDI device. To get it right, we've made loads of prototypes, and now we're working with manufacturers here in the UK to help us make the touchboard a reality. By supporting the touchboard, you're going to help us fund our first production run. But more importantly, you're going to be the first to play with this exciting piece of kit. So let's make this happen. We need your support, but what we really need is for you to share your ideas with us and with each other. So join us and let's see what we can make.
This is Dot, the world's smallest Bluetooth earbud. It's so small, it virtually disappears in your ear. Enjoy high-quality sound without the wires. Simple to use, with just a single touch for calls and a long touch for Siri.
Siri, take me to the gym.
With 2 onboard microphones for active noise cancellation, you can make calls or FaceTime with crystal clear sound. Dot features the latest Bluetooth technology and can wirelessly connect with up to 8 devices. From working out to watching your favorite movie or both, Dot is sweat resistant and weighs only 3 grams, specifically designed to stay in your ear. Focus on your workout without being disturbed by annoying wires. Listen to what you want without anyone ever knowing. An on-screen display shows Dot's battery life on your phone. A unique carrying case doubles as a wireless charger. Just reinsert the earbud for charging on the go. Enjoy a week's worth of music on a single charge. Listen to your favorite tunes, podcasts or audiobooks without wires or heavy headphones. So lightweight, you almost forget it's there. Constructed of silver, aluminum, and durable polycarbonate materials, Dot beautifully blends fashion and function. Now, it's time to buy your own Dot, the earbud that will change your life forever.
Hello and welcome to ACAD Guild's tutorial on data science. In this video, we will explain the difference between 3 key concepts: artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, to understand how they relate to the field of data science. First up, artificial intelligence, or AI. What is it? Artificial intelligence is simply any code, technique, or algorithm that enables machines to mimic, develop, and demonstrate human cognition or behavior. We are in what many refer to as the era of weak AI. The technology is still in its infancy and is expected to make machines capable of doing anything and everything humans do in the era of strong AI. To transition from weak AI to strong AI, machines need to learn the ways of humans. The techniques and processes which help machines in this endeavor are broadly categorized under machine learning. Machines learn in predominantly 2 ways. Their learning is either supervised or unsupervised. In supervised learning, machines learn to predict outcomes with help from data scientists. In unsupervised learning, machines learn to predict outcomes on the go by recognizing patterns in input data. When machines can draw meaningful inferences from large volumes of data sets, they demonstrate the ability to learn deeply. Deep learning requires artificial neural networks, ANNs, which are like the biological neural networks in humans. These networks contain nodes in different layers that are connected and communicate with each other to make sense of voluminous input data. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning, which in turn is a subset of artificial intelligence. The three technologies help scientists and analysts interpret tons of data and are hence crucial for the field of data science. To learn more about these technologies, subscribe to Acad Guild's blog and YouTube channel.
Acad Guild. Average is dead.
Hey Elijah, what you reading?
Oh, hi, my name's Elijah. I'm currently reading Artificial Intelligence for Beginners. Here are 3 reasons I like artificial intelligence. So, guess what? Fortnite actually uses bots to teach you how to play. That's really cool. And Alexa also uses artificial intelligence in speech. That's awesome. And also, YouTube and Netflix also gives you recommendations for what you should watch and what you shouldn't watch. Guess what? My favorite show is The Investigators. I love this book. I also got a copy for my friend. Thanks for making this book bio. I hope we can all read it together.
Meet the world's first artificial intelligence personal robot. She's your welcome friend at any hour.
Good morning, Thomas. Time to get up.
Good morning.
It seems like you had a good night's sleep. 8 full hours and a good resting heart rate.
Thank you.
Your meeting with Jane is at 9:30. I put the coffee on.
She can interface with household devices. And she's also a personal stylist.
What do you think?
Why don't you try the blue tie with it?
Good idea.
She's your world-class office assistant, using artificial intelligence algorithms to analyze data quickly and efficiently.
We plan to run a marketing campaign on the Upper East Side of New York. What do you think about that neighborhood?
This neighborhood has a very promising outlook for this campaign, with 25,000 housing units. Also, 82% of people living there have a college degree.
I think that's the right one for us.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. Thomas has a lunch date with Chloe in 15 minutes. She just posted a bunch of photos on Facebook about her trip to New York.
Thank you.
I just sent the meeting notes to you and Thomas.
As well as your support when you're at your most creative.
Hey, I ordered those paints that you asked for. Also, for lunch, I ordered you some falafel from your favorite restaurant.
You're the best.
She can also be a hands-free helper around the house.
Hey, need some help in here?
Could you pull up a recipe for chicken curry, please?
I'll walk you through it step by step.
Thanks.
First, you cut the chicken into cubes.
She's even a personal security guard.
Watch the house, okay?
able to monitor your home and your energy costs while providing peace of mind with real-time video feeds of every room of your home. She can connect you across the globe to be with your family.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
We wish you were here.
Did you have fun at work?
She can be the life of the party, playing music through internal speakers and photographing moments that will last a lifetime.
Hey guys, let's take a picture of everyone. Smile. 1, 2, 3.
She's also a storyteller, opening up your child's imagination not only with words, but also with colorful environments she creates.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? How was our weekend? I hope everyone enjoyed our weekend. People online as well, how are we doing? Glad to have everyone here. Hello, if you're here on Zoom, you can just drop a message in the chat. Trust we're all doing great. Yeah, so as usual, if you're online, you can just use the chat. Drop your messages on the chat on Zoom or on YouTube, where my colleagues are, and they're ready to help you get started, and if you need anything as well. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. That's Eli. Okay, we're all doing great. All right, awesome. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Okay, so we'll just wait a few more minutes for others to dial in online and on Zoom and on YouTube. And big thanks to everyone here physically. Thank you all for coming. Today's going to be exciting. Remember, I promised us last week we were going to have a quiz today. So we're going to do that shortly. But just to check that everybody is good to go. All right, so we'll just give our colleagues online another 3 minutes to dial in. Meanwhile, if you are online and you have not, maybe you're missing a platform, you're missing your Anaconda distribution or something, please check through the mails and the info pack that we shared already. So you can have that, and then you can actually download Anaconda or use Google Colab if that's what you'll be using. All right. Okay. So please, we can begin. I believe everyone here physically assigned their attendance for today. Okay, great. So if you are online, please do fill the attendance. Let me just project that for us so that everyone can see. Okay. All right, so please you can just scan the QR code for people online to fill the attendance. It's really important, whether you are online or you're physical, that you fill the attendance. Please, super, super, super important. So I'll just leave this slide up so that everyone can fill the attendance. And as well, you can get this on the info pack. So we share the link to the info pack. Let me just share another, let me just share that. So we have, there's actually, so on the info pack, yes. Okay. So you can get every single detail that you want right on this info pack right here, right? So this is the info pack, the link that was sent to your email or that you saw in the group chat. So using that link, please, it's very important that we check through this. Every detail you need is here. Session videos to join via Zoom or on YouTube. If you are not on any of the WhatsApp groups, please join for the third WhatsApp group of 3. Please go ahead and join. You can check your student ID records, attendance, and sign in. You see the QR code is right here on the document as well. So you can scan that directly and do your attendance. So every detail you need basically is right here on the info pack. You can see the links to previous recordings and other resources that we shared as well. Quiz assessments, all your quiz assessments are still live. Links to DSN, social media handles and channels. So please share on social media. And as well, even the criteria for certification is right there on the platform. Okay. Yeah, there's a quiz for every class, and it's right here on the info pack, right? So every detail you need is on the info pack. And if you check the description in each of the group chats, you will see the link to the info pack on the group description. So if you're not on any of the group chats, just go to the info pack. You'll find, where is it now? Yeah, there's a link to join a WhatsApp group there. Okay, great. Yeah, all you have to do is get to the info pack here. All right. So I'll just, okay. All right. All right, great. You can all see that. Awesome. So as far as certification for this program goes, we've been over this last week, but I'm going to repeat again because I'm sure some people might just be seeing this for the first time. It's also on the info pack because it's really important you know and you begin to work towards getting a certification for this program, right? So the requirements are you have to do the daily quiz. At least 8 out of the 12 daily quizzes that we're going to be sending to you must be attempted. All right? And also, you need to complete the attendance between 10 a.m. and 12 noon, the time for the program. It's really important. If you complete the attendance outside that time, it will be assumed that you didn't attend because you are supposed to feel it. It's an attendance, right? Okay. So 6 out of 12 classes must be attended, at least 6, right? And then you must complete the cargo competition. Super important. You can't do without it. It's like the biggest, you see, it carries 50% of the certification weight. It's super important that you do that. Okay. All right. So let's see. I think that's going to be it for that. Okay. And then, so like I shared, since we're getting started already, so just a minute now, I will be sharing with us our quiz. Yeah, so we're going to be having a quiz just to check how we are learning and how we are doing. Please, as we stated in the guidelines, for people here physically, you need your nose masks, please. So if you don't have your face mask, your nose mask on, please kindly just put it on. Thank you. And okay. All right. So please, my colleagues will drop the links to the Slido quiz that we'll be using in the group chats now. So please, you can click the link to join, or you just scan the QR code now on the screen. Okay, so please. All right, we have 2 people on the quiz now. So yeah, we're waiting for everyone. So scan the QR code or just go to slido.com and type in the code for the event. Just type in capitals DSNAIE. That's AI every day. Okay, so we're waiting. We can see the people joining us. We have a good number of people here. We're going to start. So you can see this on your screen. All you have to do is scan the QR code. Okay, Victor Kajere is on. All right, just scan the QR code or just type it slido.com, SLIDO.com. Okay, it's Peter. Okay, we have 5 people now. Okay, 4. All right, so people here physically, you're expected to join this. So you can just point your phone at the screen scan the QR code, or you go to slido.com and you use the, okay, so we're waiting. Okay, awesome, people are joining, great. Yeah, we'll just wait a few minutes for all of us to join. Let's just have some fun, let's see how we're doing. All right, so please join with your names. It's very important to join using your name so we can recognize you and your friends can also recognize you and see you, because there will be a leaderboard for this quiz, right? And everyone just come in, you're all welcome. Okay, all right, so if you're just joining, super important, don't forget attendance, signing in. So let's join this quiz. Slido.com DSNAID or scan the QR code. To scan the QR code, if you have Google Lens on your phone, just go to your Google Lens or you get the QR code scanner, point it at it directly, or just type in slido.com and in the event code you type in DSNAID. Okay. Oh wow, we have quite a number of people who have joined now. Wow, 30 people, 32. Wow, 35. Wow. Okay. I think this is a good number. How many of us here physically have joined? Only one person. So everybody here is online. Don't let people online steal our shine now. All right, come on, let's all dial in. Just go to your phone. Do you have an internet connection? No. Do you want to help you? All right. Yeah, the Slido link is there. It's just right above in the chat. So my colleagues will send the link to the Slido again. So you'll just send it again on WhatsApp. So let's just send the link to Slido on WhatsApp, on YouTube, on Zoom, whatever platform you're on. 51, okay. Just wait for 2 more minutes. Just wait for 2 more minutes for everyone to join. Okay, this is a good number. It's a really good number. All right. So I'll give us some time to join. I would love it if everyone here is online. I would absolutely love it if everyone here is actually on Teams. Please. Super important. Oh wow, 69. Okay. Please, just if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat so that we can pick it up from there. All right. Yeah, you can scan the QR code or go to slido.com and all right, 70 people. Wow, 71. Amazing. This is an awesome participation. Yeah, we have 1 more minute to join. If you are online and you want to join, you have about 1 more minute to join. Okay. All right, and that 1 minute is about 30 seconds now. All right. Okay, so I think we have a good number of participants already. Okay, so let's test our knowledge over the last, how many classes now? 2. So don't worry, the quiz questions are really simple and we'll see how we are doing. All right, so let's go. So you have about 20 seconds to answer each question. Okay, that one's over. The correct answer is what? Print. We use print. Let's see who answered fastest. Tosin. Is Tosin here? No, Tosin is online. Nice one. Negative goal. So these are people on the leaderboard, the top 5 people currently in this quiz. Okay. Congrats to everyone. Let's see who will make it at the end of the 10 questions. Okay, question 2. Okay. Right, have some time. What's the correct answer? The correct answer is false. The correct answer is false. Because remember our knowledge of bed mass where we talked about brackets will take priority following our board mass that we know it from math. Okay, what's the leaderboard looking like now? Oh, I think something has changed here. But Tosin is still in the lead. Yeah, so the timing for your answering the question as well as your answer being correct is what? So shortest time and most correct answers. Okay, let's go. So the following is not a Python data type. It's not a Python data type. Okay. I hope people on Zoom and YouTube are able to follow because of the lag. Yeah, I mean, sync, float. So the correct answer is sync. Sync is not a Python data type. Sync is not a Python data type. Wow, Tosin is still in the lead. Okay, Victor has moved up. Wow. Okay, these 5 people are, who are these 5 people? One of them, I know they have about 21 seconds. Tosin has about 20 seconds. Way to go, Tosin. I think Tosin is following online. That's a good one. Okay. So we have this code. What's the answer going to be? So what's the correct answer? The correct answer is false. So we initialized A as DSN. We initialized DSN as string A. We initialized venue as string DSN. Then we said DSN is what? A. We are comparing DSN, the what? The variable DSN, which contains what? A. And we said, is it equal to the variable A, not string A, you see? So that means now we check, is the variable DSN is what? Is A string, but variable A is what? String DSN. So are they the same? No, so the answer is false. Let's see how the leaderboard is looking. Ooh, the leaderboard has changed. Okay, so leaderboard has adjusted, all right? Okay, next question. What would be the result of this code? Said A is DSN, DS string DSN, DSN is string A, venue is string DSN. Okay, what's the correct answer? True, right? Okay, any issues here? None, great. I think the larger majority of us are getting correctly. The leaderboard is changing. The times are changing as well. All right. What is Tosin? Okay. We still have about 4 more questions to go. Okay. Someone saying something? We have about 97 people now on Zoom. Okay. What's the correct answer? false. Why is the correct answer false? Because variable A is actually the same as variable venue. And we're asking A is not equal to venue. That's false. Okay, Lawrence Akimboye is stopping. Okay, is anybody here on the leaderboard? What's the name? Oh, nice. That's nice. That's lovely. Okay, let's see. Oh wow, this one seems to be contentious, but the answer is false. Why is the answer false? Who knows? One is a string, right? And ONE, string ONE, cannot be converted to an integer using the int function. Right? It's alphabets. Okay? Alright, let's look at the next question. Wow, all 7 correct. Nice. So the purpose of this quiz is just to test our knowledge. Let's see how much, let's get excited that we are making progress, we are learning, and let's see the things that we are maybe missing or things that we are we're not getting correct. So I think you can actually change your answers before the time runs out. I believe you can do that. Okay. Woo! I believe the correct answer is true. Why? Integer value 4 can be converted to a string. When we pass integer value 4 into the STR function, what does it return? It returns a string 4. You just put 4 and then it puts what? Simple. All right. Adora Gbemi is still in the lead. Nice. Wow. We have someone on team physical. I think maybe by next class we'll ask people to put where they are joining from in their quiz name. So we'll have maybe team physical, team virtual, see which team is leading. Okay, that's really lovely. All right, next question. What's the double asterisk operator used for in Python? Ooh, I've seen a lot of false. Is it false? Yes. Double asterisk is not used to multiply. What's it used to do? Exponents. Beautiful. So Adora Bim is still in the lead. Wow, this is nice. Last question. Beautiful. I'm glad that almost everyone got this correctly. It's true. It will be a comment. Why? Because there's the hash symbol before it, which means it becomes a comment in Python. All right. So true. Correct. All right. So so the quiz says that the hardest question was what? It was the DSN. It was the first. I want to minimize this. Get this out so everyone can see. I think the people following online will be able to actually see it better. So we have the top 5 people. Congratulations, Adora Gbemi. Let's just celebrate them. Well done. So how did we do in this quiz? How did we do? Please, if you're online, if you're on Zoom, you're on YouTube, share how the quiz was for you. How hard was it? Was it very difficult? No, it was quite simple. But I mean, it's not. You see that it's not. I mean, it's not. There are no prizes right now for our quiz, just to let us, just to see how we are doing. I mean, if you took this quiz 2 weeks ago, would you have been able to get the same score you got today? No, but we are making progress, right? That's the goal, that we are making progress, we are learning, was quite easy. Thank you. It was quite easy, right? So the idea just let us know that we are learning and that was great. Nice. Fair. Okay. So that we are learning. It says the hardest question was that, well, the questions that had, this. I set up the variables intentionally like this to be able to really let us really check and understand that we really know, we know that we know, and we are very sure of the answers that we are giving. Okay, great, great, great. Okay, so we'll have another quiz next class, and that will cover plus what we'll be doing today. But like I said, this just helps us to see how far we learned and how we are doing. So congratulations to the top 5 people: Adora Bimi, Zion, Lawrence Akimboye, Anthony, Tiriba, and Daniel. Big, big, big congrats. Generally, I think we did exceptionally. I think we all did very, very, very well. So well done, everyone. So let's get into class for today. Yeah, I look forward to the next quiz myself, right? I always have fun doing these quiz setups. All right, so let's get into work for today, right? How many of us practice over the weekend? We practice something, and then a good number of us have been completing the daily quiz assessments, which is beautiful. Let me just put this again. Okay, we're live. All right. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so to select your answer, you just tap the correct answer. That's all. You just tap the correct answer. That's all you have to do. You just tap the correct answer. So we'll take off where we stopped last week, which was we're converting our variables. Do we all remember? We stopped right here, right? And we're about to see, or we had actually touched on converting our floats to integers, right? Anybody have any question? So before we get into it for today, we've done a quiz, we see how far we've gone. If you have any questions so far, I'll give us about 5-10 minutes. If you have any question, maybe online, on Zoom, on YouTube, if you have it on YouTube, please ask. My colleagues are going to forward the question. If you have on Zoom, you have about a few seconds to ask your question. Okay? All right. Okay, so I'll give us 1 minute to get our engine started, launch our Anaconda, our Jupyter notebook. So we'll have 1 minute for that. I'll just go around if anyone has any question. Okay, great. No questions. It looks like everybody's making a lot of good progress. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. It's usually best to have a notebook dedicated to this learning, so you know that everything you're learning is in one notebook, right? But if you have it as separate notebooks, that's fine as well. I also put my Jupyter notebook. Okay, question on converting strings to integers and vice versa. Yeah, we'll cover that. We touched on that last week, so you can check the session video for last week. But I'll go over that again. Okay, this that's Uluwabukola says okay. So if you open your Jupyter notebook, top right corner, you should see something that looks like this. You see new, you see upload, you see new, you see this thing like a refresh button. So you click on new, right? You click on Python 3 to open a new notebook for you in which you can begin to type and use your code. So how to use the platforms, all you need to do is check through session 1 and you'll find videos on how you can do that. Okay? So that should be fine. So conversing. Yeah, so topic, we're just continuing from where we stopped, exactly from where we stopped in the last class. So all you have to do is continue. Thank you so much. All we have to do is to continue from where we stopped in the last class. So if you were not in the last class, please check out the session video. And if you were, you can just continue with us. Okay. All right, so I'll just go over strings to integers one more time. So I'll start from integers and then I'll do integers to string and then we'll just go like that. Okay. So basically converting from one data type to another, integer, strings, boolean, float, and all that is really simple. We already explained that we have functions int. I'll just make this bigger. So we have functions int, right? We have function str, right? What other function do we have? Data types. We have float. We actually have bool as well. Which we'll see just after this example. Yeah. So int converts from integer, from what? Another data type really to integer, just from the name you can tell it converts to an integer. Str converts to a string. Float converts to a float, and bool converts to a boolean. And how does that work? Okay, so let's look at some examples. We have 9.32345. If I want to convert that, which is a float, now I want to convert it to an integer. Now I want to convert it to an integer. All I need to do is use the int function. I have the int function, and between the parentheses, the brackets, I type in 9.345. It's an integer. I mean, it's a float. It's a number. You see, the color is green. There are no quotations, no apostrophe. It's just 9.345. It's in the int, and by the time we convert it, we run that cell, it becomes what? The output is 9. It's been converted successfully to an integer. You see that there's no, is there a decimal point after the 9? No, there's no decimal point. There are no significant figures after the 9. It's just 9, no decimal point, no 0. It's an integer. Now we can actually check. Before we had what? 9.345, right? If we use the type function, type, and we check the data type that 9.345 is, what value will we get? We get the float. Now, if I now check what? We convert it, int 9.345. Let's call that, we talked about assigning variables, so let's call that our result. We assign the integer conversion of 9.345 to what? A variable called result. And then I want to know what is actually my result. So I can say result here. I'll get my 9. Why? It's printing result. Or I can actually just say, which if you're using, for people using normal Python IDs or PyDroid, put your print. And when I run this, I will still get my 9. Why? It's printing result, and result is what? Integer 9. So what data type is this result? If we check, we see that result is now, should be an integer. So in that way, you can check actually your data type conversions and similar things. Is that clear? Are we good? All right, so I'll move on. I think A was, okay, so let's use result. I think we use A above. So let's use result here. So you know result is now number 9, which is an integer. So that's the last thing we did. Now, to convert it back to a float. Now here's the funny part. If we convert result back to a float, what do you guess the answer would be? Back to a float, what number would be the answer? 9 points. Let me run this again. It's actually 9.0. So the 3, 4, 5 will never come back again. Because what we didn't approximate. We took the entire, everything after the decimal point and just threw it away. And we said, you know what? All I want is the integer value, the whole number. So that's what happens when you use int and float to convert. It loses the significant figures after the decimal point. But if you wanted to keep maybe the significant figures, you wanted to round up, you use the round function, which we'll see later on. Okay. Well, let me just show us a demo of what the round function looks like. So imagine we have, so let's create a variable, let's call it number, right? This number is 8.78854. Rounding this up is going to be what? To whole number is going to be 9. All right, so I'll just say round, and I'll say number, because I want the round function to work on number. I'll put number in between round. And if I don't specify anything else, let's assign this to a variable. Let's call that answer is equal to round, right? Being applied on number. And we say print what? Print answer for us. Let's see what the answer looks like now. What's our answer? 9. See, it's rounded off. And not because we had 9 as our former answer. If I change the 8 to 6, our answer should be 7, right? 7. Now, if I came here, so I come here, put a comma, there's a comma now, and I put 1. I get, oh, I put it in the print. I was wondering why I was seeing 7 here. So I go to the round, after number, I put 1. What's going to happen is my number will be approximated, or my results will now be approximated to 1 decimal place. So it's now what? 6.8. See that? If I want 2 decimal places, what do I put here? 2. Becomes 6.79. The same on and on. If I want 3 decimal places, I want 4 decimal places. Right? If I want 10 decimal places, it will just add nothing to me because my number is not even up to 10 decimal places. Do you get it? All right. So that is that about rounding, the round function, and using other functions to convert between data types. We looked at integers, we looked at floats, we looked at strings. Now we'll look at putting in the just down below. Okay, so I think that's clear. Are we good? Online, I hope you're good. Okay, great. Someone said something now. All right, I'll slow down a bit. Okay, one says it's good. All right. Good, great. I'll just open down here too, so we can see what people on YouTube. Good. Okay, I think everyone is good. So imagine we want to convert the string to an integer now. We have string value 20, right? And if we find the type, imagine we said the age is 20. Let's find the type of value that this is going to be. Okay. All right. Okay, so people on YouTube, okay, no question as well. Okay, we're good. All right, so age, we are assigning the string value 20 to the variable age, right? Right? Okay, would this code give an error if I change this to 60? Will it give an error? Okay. So if we run this now, we are asking the computer, we're asking Python, what data type is age? What's the answer? String. Wonderful. Now we want to convert it to an integer, and all we do is use the int function. Int, we put the age in between the parentheses, we apply the int function to age, and then we assign that value using the equal to operator. The equal to operator is our what? Assignment operator. Whenever we put the equal to operator between a variable name and a variable value, the variable value is stored where? In the variable name. We discussed this last week. And when we do that, we find the type, the data type, which is our result, new age. What's going to be the answer? It's there already. It's a notebook. Int, it's now an integer. And if we print it, so if I printed, check this out. So I'll run this cell again. If I printed age, print age, so we got 60. Now, you know, in this kind of output, there are no there's no quotation, right? Right? If we just look at it like this and we print, you know, we've converted it here. If I printed new age, you know, the 260, they look the same. Don't they look the same from the print? As a matter of fact, they are printed the same, but are they the same? Huh? Let's check. Let's check if they're the same. Age plus new age. You get an error. We get a type error. Why? What does it say? What does the error say? It says it cannot concatenate string. It said it can only concatenate a string, not an integer to a string. Huh? Because it's reading one as a string and one as an integer. So, but if I didn't use, because the print function will automatically remove the parentheses, I mean the quotation, right? Now you see that there's a single apostrophe on both sides, right? Now, it's obvious now that it's a string. It's obvious. But without, if we had used the print, it wouldn't be so obvious. So it's not just about printing that you can tell that this is data type. So the type function, well, I'm just one that I'm thinking, I can just print this thing and I'll know if it's a string now. Or when you see letters, it's obvious it's a string, but sometimes as a number, it will be the same. So that's why it's really important that we know our type function and the other functions for converting between different data types. Same for a float, convert a float to a string. Put any floats in between the parentheses for your string function, you will get what? A string value. You see that they are now apostrophe on both sides of the 9.7, right? There's that quotation mark. Okay. Let's look at that. Let's change this to what? 129.7, blah, blah, blah. String. And if we, now, the beautiful part about Python, and I really like it, we don't have to do it on separate lines. Right now, we can find the type of this, and all we have to do is type. We don't even have to go to a new line, right? You know what we are doing, right? We are, instead of us putting string that into a new variable, we just put it directly in the type function, and it will still give you an answer that it's a string. Is that clear? So that way you can use different functions, call different functions on different functions, right? And we'll see more of that. And I'm sure not this because we'll be using a lot of that. Most times when we get to machine learning, we'll be combining a lot of functions. You could just see np dot this, put that, then data frame that, and then put another function on that. And so you know that you can use multiple functions together. All right, don't worry, we'll still cover that properly. Convert an integer to a string, same thing. Yes, question. Yes, exactly. That's what we did first. If you remove it, it will bring out just a string. So you see that the output is different because what we have done here. So what's the difference between the two things we did? This is saying what data type. I mean, this is saying convert the float 129.745678 to a string and output the result for me. The string function automatically outputs your result, and so we see the string value there. The moment I put this, I pass this into the type function. The moment I do that, I am asking the computer, or I'm telling the computer, convert 129.745678 to a string. Then find the data type that it is, that the answer of that conversion is, and then output the results for me. And the output should be str, string, right? So once we run that, all we'll see is string. Is that clear? Cool. So same for an integer. Now, a mixture of a number and a string cannot be converted to an integer. Once you mix your number and your string, it will be, the computer is not able to convert that to an integer. And why? Because the other one is, right? The other one is, it's alphabet. So even if, is there any number like HOURS? There isn't. So the only thing we can do is give a value error. So only thing we can do is, if it's 179, no problem, I'll convert it to an integer for you. When you start saying things like 179 is a number, yeah, or that's funny, 777 is a number. No, you can't get that. Or pi 142 is pi. Yes, we know, but we can't convert this to an integer. Only if it's the string itself, the entire literal, is a number. Is that clear? Do we get that? Okay. Oh, I see that no questions. Yeah, all right. Awesome. Wait, what? Oh, okay. So let me change that. We have, okay. And that's because this is, let me change this. Okay. Oh. I think I have. Yeah. So who can tell us why we kept getting those errors? Who can tell us why? I'm actually very curious. Who can tell us why? Now I was getting some errors before. I had the pi in there, right? Thank you. So we are using the int function to try to convert it. It won't be converted because it has to be an integer literal, right? 3 something that doesn't have a decimal point. Once that's a decimal point, we have to use floats. Okay, is it clear? All right, it's really simple. I mean, Python is super simple. So tip, strings can be represented by both single or double quotes. However, you can't mix both of them. And we'll see that later. It's very important to understand that you can use your single quote or use your double quote, but you cannot combine for the same string your single quote and your double quote. You can combine them, but you shouldn't. And why is that? Let's show something. Let's say print, and my string is, if this is your first class, please just be sure to go back and watch the previous videos on YouTube. They are right there on YouTube. You can watch the previous videos. All right, so let's look at print. This is a test. We get this is a test. We can also use the single quotes. This is a test. Now, imagine if we put the double quotes on this side and put the symbol on this side. Uh-oh, it says end of line while scanning string literal. So what's the issue there? Because I use the double and I use the single here. So it must be the same double. And why? What if I actually want to print the quotation in itself? Like I want this thing, this guy. I want to print it. I want it to show, because you know when we print, it's not going to show, right? So if I use this now, Oh, would this be printed? No. But I want the quotation to be around this. So what do I do? I have to use a double of that double. So I'm converting this. What is happening is this guy is the entire double apostrophe, the IS, and the other double apostrophe is being converted now to a string. You see that the color changes. And by the time we print this, what you see is all a string. Now, if I actually now wanted that, okay, this has to be this, what happens is put a double, okay, and you print. Do we see that? So it's very important how you combine those two, because the double will take the precedence, and if the smaller one is the found in between, to just print it properly as that on whatever you want to do. You can also print the double by putting more doubles. Okay. So this is not, we're not going to do string. So we'll cover more of that later. That's just to prove the tip that we have over there. Example 4. We'll now look at converting Boolean. And Boolean is like the simplest ever. Like the simplest ever. Why is it simplest ever? There are only 2 values. What are the 2 values? It's either true or it's false. True or false. INT false. Now, you need to run it. Run the system. Type INT and open the bracket, false. Capital F. If you do that, it will be 0 because it will take a value of 0. If you use a small f, see that the color scheme changes because Python does not recognize that. That is not a what's it called? A keyword. It's not a keyword, so it's just another variable name. And if we want to tell you that float false is not defined, but make it a capital F and everything changes. Like we mentioned in the first class, Python is a case-sensitive programming language. That means there's a difference between capital F false and small f false. So INT capital F false is 0, and INT capital T true is going to be 1. In the same way, you can convert your Boolean, use your bool function to convert the integer 1 to true and 0 to false. This might seem, okay, we're converting from, it makes sense, it's obvious. But many times, like we mentioned earlier, imagine if, now, of course, it don't work for yes or no, but sometimes when we're doing our machine learning, imagine you have your data set and it reads true, false, true, false, true, false. But your machine learning algorithm will only work with numbers 0 and 1. You can just use the bool function to convert them. Of course, there are other ways to convert it. So many other ways to convert it. But this is just show you that the bool function you can convert from your values of Boolean, which is 0, 1, true, false, to their integer string values or Boolean values. So that's really simple. It's only 0 and 1 that we can use as examples here. Let's try something. It just says true. Any number above 1 is just a true. Because it has 2 states, on or off, high or low, right? And it takes low as 0. So anything that is not 0 will just be, but anything that is 0 and false. Let me show you. 0.1 true. Why? Because 0.1 is greater than 0. Even though by 0.1 is greater than 0, so it will be true. What about minus 0.1? This one just is true. That's why it's very important that your Boolean is just keep it straight to your one value, 0, which is false. 0 is false. That's all it knows. And 1 true, and values above 1 false. Doesn't count on the negative side because Boolean is logic, right? It's not integer, it's not numeric, it doesn't work on a number line. Yes. Yeah. It says true. Yes, that's why I said. So that's why I said Boolean is that's what I just explained now. That Boolean doesn't work with your number line. It's not thinking in terms of is it greater than or less than. It's either 0 or 1. You get it? It's either 0 or any other thing 1. So it's not thinking in terms of a number line greater than, less than, minus, less. positive, right? X-axis is positive. All it's thinking is 0, low, 1, high. All right, so logical operators. Now, we already talked about some of these like plus, minus, star, asterisk, double, modulus, and all that. Now, for comparison, we also talked about what is equal to, is not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, right? Okay, so these are the type of logical operators, and they just test whether an expression is true or false, right? Okay, and or not. Yeah, so the logical operators are your, whether an expression is true or false, the result, and they are your and, or, and not. And in actually more advanced, you'll be hearing things like exclusive or, exclusive and, all those. But that's not what that's not what we're doing here. This one is just simple your and, or not, right? And what? The operator returns false when it encounters a false condition. That is, the condition is false. It evaluates to not being true or not being logically correct or not being logically true. Or returns a true when at least there's a true condition. So or is, sometimes don't think of it in another programming, don't think of it in your normal logic. Or it's one, if one of them is true, that means it's correct, it's logically true, because all says it's either this or this. Both are being considered. Not returns true if the condition is false, and returns false. Okay, not returns true if the condition is false, and true if the condition is false. And that's because what? So I'm false if the condition is true. This should be, it's not just inverts. And let me change this so that it doesn't confuse someone. Returns true if the condition is false, and so I'm just repeating, and false if the condition is what? So not just, what is not false? What's the opposite of false? True. If it's not false, it's true. So not just inverts it, it just inverts whatever the logical expression is. If it's true, it's inverted to mean false. If it's false, it's inverted to mean true. All right, let's move on. Example of using the AND operator. Let MNIS be equal to, let's see what that means. Let's be 3, right? Or let's use our own. Let's say number 1 is 3, right? And we can say, let's create another one and say what? Number 2. Okay, no, let's still leave it number 1. Let's run number 1. So we know that number 1 is 3, right? So let's run this cell. Okay, let's run this cell. Who can tell me what the result of this cell will be? Beautiful. Why? You guys are amazing. You guys are Pythonistas. I think next class I'll just stand up. One of you guys will come and teach us. I think, should we do that next class? Are you people know? Come on now. People are getting it already, right? So really, it's going to be an error because MNIS to this code right now doesn't exist. It's not defined. So if I run this, tells you name error, MNIS is not defined. Or some of us have run it before. That's mine too. Okay, so change this to number 1. Excuse me. Change this, leave it. All right. So number 1 is less than 7, and number 1 is less than 1. Huh? Excuse me. I think it's clear, right? How that works? It's clear, right? Only if both of them evaluate to the same logic would it give true. Only if both of them evaluate to being true in the same logic or being false in logic would it give false, right? If we look at it in the other Boolean form, 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 1 is going to be 0, 1 times 1 will be 1. So both of them have to be high, or both of them have to be. If both of them are not high, that's going them to give true, right? Okay. So let's change it to all. If we change it to all, what will be the answer? Huh? Are you sure? Why? Beautiful. So that is that. So you can even cross check false and false will give you false. False or false will give you false. No, you see, they're the same, right? So that one we have there. If we say not false, you get and not true must always give us false. Yeah, thank you. I'll get some water now. Thank you so much. People online care for me. Thank you guys so much. So using the OR operator, right, is okay. We've already even demonstrated it up, and that's the year is 12. So year equals, see this double equal, so that means we are comparing. We are not assigning, we are comparing. So that means year is 12 or year is less than 10. The answer should this has to be true. Oh, year is not defined, I've not like this. So yeah, I'll slow down, sorry. You can also just check the recording again because it's being recorded. You can, if you miss anything, you can always go back. All right, so I'll slow down again. Year is 12. We're saying if year is equal to or the same as 12 or the year is less than 10. If one of them is true, because it's all only cares if one of them is true, the answer will be true. If both of them are false, the answer will be false. But if one, at least one is true, the answer will be true. So since one expression is true, the answer, the evaluation will be true. Okay, so we'll take a short break. I will go get some water. And what will be the result of the following expressions? Minute is 18. If minute is less than 7 and minute is less than 1. Now play around, change the operators to and or try add, try or try not. I have a feeling we'll have issues when you get to not. Try and, try or, try not. Try to change the value of the variable and let's see how we'll go. So we already covered the not operator. Good. So we'll just look at this now. So if you're online as well, please make sure you just try it out. This is a hands-on exercise for us to see. Try it yourself. So the way I like to do this kind of things is in your mind, guess what the answer should be. I mean, an hypothesis is a data-driven guess, right? That I mean, from what you know, what we have done, the answer for this. For example, I can look at this and I can say the answer should be this, right? So and then you run your code. Is the answer you predicted? Is it correct? If it's not correct, adjust your learning and try again. You're already doing machine learning. All right. So we'll take a break for 2 minutes. If you need to stretch your legs, please do. We've been on the class for an hour now. Okay, so I'll just make this up so that we can all just follow and use this, and then we will move to another unit. Okay. All right. Just looking at the comments on Zoom and YouTube. Okay. We're fine. Great. So we go to not. How many of us have been able to solve it? You had issues, you're able to solve it. So what did you do? How did you solve the not problem? What? Yeah. Okay, so that means you took everything, you type your note, and you put everything into the bracket. Beautiful. So basically, okay, so that everybody can follow online and offline. So basically, for the not, because not takes a logical value, not takes a logical value and inverts it. You need to give it a logical value, a complete logical value. So that means you need to put your what now? Pick one of them. So to output your true or false, you pick one of them, make you put then not that, and then okay, let me run my own. Let's create a new cell. So we had, so I mean, the other ones are quite straightforward, and then we say minute. Minute is long. That's so long. Right? Less than 7 knots. Less than 1. No. But if we said this, no. Wow. We have to use and or, right? For the not. So not takes a logical value and inverts it. So if we want to say, so which, let's say we have and already, and we actually should run this another cell. Let's run this another cell so we can play with it without. Great. So if we now have this, so someone raised their ease or someone just raised their hand on Zoom. So just ask your question in the chat so that someone can pick it up. Okay. I'm waiting for your question. So what about if we try something like this? So we can always do something like this, right? And put your final result and put it in a bracket, and then you find the negative, you find the inverse of that or the opposite of that. Or we can always take one of them, not this, and this. I believe this should give us the same thing, your false. So you see where brackets come in. See how the brackets are quite useful. So the same way, but if we tried something like, for the others, we can, and it's the same thing for true and false, really. So brackets help us to just, I really wish you had time, would have shown this, done the board masking. I think we'll do it in the next quiz. Or let's take it as an assignment. We can do it in the class, okay, but we need to move. The difference, if we use the bracket, if we use the bracket, place the bracket at different points and add some different things, if it give us the same logical answer. Would you give us the same logical answer? No. Because it's as same as arithmetic. The logic will also take some precedence. The bracket will always take precedence before the exponent, or greater than equal to, they also have theirs. Okay. So I think that's clear. Example using the not operator. Yeah, go on. So false, false. We'll give it true. Give it true. False, false. Oh, sorry. So false and false, we give false. Right. So because false is a zero value, let's convert it. Where is that? So if we say int false, it's 0 actually. And says if one of them is, if at least one of them is false, if at least one of them is false, the answer is false. unless both of them are true, is the only time and will give true. So because we've used and here, we're definitely going to get false. But if we use or, we will get false too, because we say false or false. But if we say false or true, we'll get true, because at least one of them is true. So all takes, if at least one is true, all will give true, because true is one. So you can think of Boolean like your or as your positive, positive as your addition operation, right? And you can think of your and as your multiplication operation. I think of your true and your false as 0 and 1 as the integer values. So because this isn't a computer science class, we'll have gone into the your truth table. How many of you have done something like that before? The truth table, yeah, where you see where and then talk about exclusive or not or now none, there is not nine, there is no, there is X or all those X no, all those beautiful things that sometimes get confusing. But we thank God for truth table. All right, so now end our unit 2, and I'm sure that I hope we're getting it, we're having some fun, right? Okay, we are rounding up. By next class, we'll have our quiz. We should be done with Python by the next class or by next week. Then we'll do a guided class project, and then you take a project home, and you will take everything we have learned, and you will build something with it. It could be maybe a program to. So that's how it's going to be really. It's not going to be like solve 1 plus 1 plus 1. So we'll just give maybe write a program to find out if something. It's not going to be in English. So you're going to interpret it. We'll look at how you're going to structure your data and how you can work around that. So we're getting closer. All right. String manipulations and data structures in Python. So what are we doing here? We're going to look at, like I mentioned earlier, this is why I didn't explain fully in the other module about the string, because we're still going to do it here. We'll talk about string manipulations and your double quotes, your single quotes, and we'll talk about creating different data structures such as list, tuple, set, dictionary. And each of these data structures has its own method. And by method, I mean how you can make it work, how you can access it, how you can use it, how you can modify it, how you can make it work. Think of methods like ways to use a certain function, a certain thing, right? Okay. So Python variable data types. We talked about our data types. Now, because they are actually objects, we talk about things like your list. So your data structure, we talk about things like list, string, tuple, numbers, and your dictionary. Now, string manipulation. Now, Python string is more than just numbers. When we talk about, letters. When we talk about strings are not just limited to letters, as we've seen, that numbers can be strings, right? Now, to create a string is actually an ordered sequence of characters. And that means certain kinds of operations can be carried out on a string. And some of these kind of operations are what we call indexing, slicing, and the key word here that we need to know is that they are ordered sets of characters, an ordered sequence of characters. There's an order to it. And the only reason we can index and we can slice a string is because there's an order. That is, it knows that this guy is at position 1, this character is at position 2, this character is at position 3. It's getting interesting now. Okay, so creating strings, all you need are single or double quotes. Type anything, and it comes out as a string. Just put a single or a double quote in between. Anything, enclose it in a single or double quote to come out as a string. I have a question. So if I enclose this, is this going to come out as a string? Is it going to come out as a string? Are you sure? Type why is this a string and not a comment? Exactly. So if I were to do this, it becomes a comment. It's all about the placement of the quotation. It's all about the placement of the quotation. If I still come back here and let's see, I place a quotation here, I place another quotation mark here. I have to place two quotations, right? Sorry. This will never be okay. Sorry. So this will never be a string because right from after this, whatever you type after this guy will always be a comment. This will just be hash. Now, if I want this to become, this whole thing to become a string, all I have to do is enclose this hash in a quotation. Do you get? You know this hash right now it's not in any quotation, right? Because the quotation only covers this hash here. So once I enclose this guy, all I have to do is I have to remove it. Yep, matched. Still matched. Sorry, there's one inside. Yes. So we get this. And notice how here it seems there's no space here. Right? I mean there's a space here, but when it's printed, there's no space. That's because the whole thing is just a single string. It's just a single string. And it has automatically concatenated that Jupiter itself. But if we actually wanted some space, then we are just getting ahead of ourselves. Put the plus. This is all just we're still just playing around here, and then you can see that there's a space now because we added a space in one of the strings. So that's just about comments and string manipulations. Really, anything can be a string. Type it, even if you put star star star, you won't get an error as long as there are supporting as quotations on both sides. As long as whatever you're typing is enclosed between two quotations, it's very important because when you begin to combine multiple strings, you must know that for every quotation you add, there must be what? A closing. The same way for every bracket you open, the bracket must be closed. Let me try. So this is giving us an error simply because now imagine if we had someone once said I heard somewhere, I don't remember where now, but the block of codes that make for I don't know if it's Adobe Photoshop, one of these Adobe products, I don't know if it's PDF Reader. If the lines of code, this is just one line of code, right? If the lines of code were stacked like against themselves, they will be kilometers long. Imagine if our code, the code is actually one thing, like I think YouTube is written in Python, if I remember correctly. The code behind YouTube is going to be, you will see when we start talking about things like, you see when we get to machine learning, how that to do one thing, you may have to write maybe 100 lines of code. Like, for example, I can tell you that how many of us have our AI-based membership ID? Good, a good number of us. If you are here and you have an AI-based membership ID, you shouldn't be here. You can't be here because when you're registered and all. The code that is generating your AI-based membership ID is running to hundreds of lines. Imagine if there is an error in a certain print somewhere, you've forgotten to close your bracket. You will keep getting an error, and because sometimes it's obvious now because it's just one line, and then Python will let you know where the error is. But imagine if you could be struggling for maybe some hours just trying to find why is this not wrong. And there are certain ways even this print can be in a block of code that you might still be confused on where is the error. Yes, you know that there's an unexpected end of a function, but where is it? So it's very important that, and that's why Jupyter helps you. You notice every time you open a bracket, Jupyter will close it for you, and you should put your cursor in between them because it's just a kind of programming convention that you should actually, before you type into your bracket, you should open it and close it before you actually type it. It's a convention, right? So, I mean, it's not compulsory, but I mean, it's just like a best practice. So that, yeah. So anything you type in between your quotation becomes a string. Whatever you type within your quotation becomes a string. Basic printing of strings. I like this one. Test, okay. But this one will only print 2. It will only print the last one because, like I mentioned earlier, I've mentioned I've been saying it that we are not printing here. We're not using the Python function print. This is a Jupyter function that when you type something, even if it's a variable, it will automatically just print it for you. Right? And it's not printing, it's printing it in its own editor, in its own output, in its own IPython output. So if we want Python to print it out for us, you must put the print function. And you say print 1, print 2, and then you have this. Because many times, even I have been guilty, many times, and you get away with it sometimes. You want to print, now, many want to print 3 variables. So I've said 1, 2. Now, there's a bit of a difference here. See that Jupyter, I look at no matter how much I separate them, this is how Jupyter will always print them. But if I did something like this, I'll get something like this. Don't worry, we'll talk about concatenation just below. So the idea is whatever you want to print, you must actually tell the computer to print it. If you don't tell it, don't do it. Right? We're not going to machine learning where our computer can learn by itself. This is just traditional programming. The computer has not learned anything. So print 1, print 2, you will get it. But if you just put 1 and 2, you just say, you're used to typing, because not everybody is using Jupyter Notebook, and it's not actually composed to use Jupyter Notebook, but it's just really easy for beginners to start. You will only get 2. All right. So print, this is a new line, right? And then if you print this, you'll notice the other one is also on a new line. We showed this in the first class. Was it in the first or second class? Second class, where we talked about the new line operator. This backstroke n will always print whatever follows it on a new line. And this is actually very beautiful because if sometimes, like, I like outputting a lot of my code. I use print function to debug a lot of my code. And if I wanted to, maybe I want to separate things a bit, I can just say something like, maybe I want some space. Check this out. I can say print a new line. Print this for me 3 times. See how there's now space. So what it has done is it has actually printed this new line 3 times. So it has created some space in my code. So I can do the same thing here. You see there is. So what happened is the first new line, it took it to the next line, and then we said another new line. So it jumped that one, went to the next new line, then printed this. So you can always use that to do your new line in your code. It's a new line. Now this is not on the new line. But the moment we put our backstroke n, for a while it actually got me confused because I used to type forward stroke n, and I would just be seeing it in my line. This thing is supposed to give me a new line. Backstroke and forward stroke totally different. Right? Python code. Okay, so let's look at tab as well. So there are all sorts of string functions that we'll see that there are ways you can manipulate strings beyond just what we know. So you want to, there's a tab space, right? There is a wider space than your normal space bar. How can we put that in our Python code? Tab backstroke T. So print Python code, print this is a tab, then this is the magic, this is the guy doing the work here. Imagine we remove him, this is what we get. Notice how this prints with space between, no space, but put it back, and we have this. We can have two of it. What if I want yeah, so I actually forgot to mention the tab is not the tab like TAB, it's the backspace T, the backstroke T, because I'm sure somebody might have been confused by now. Sorry, it's the backspace T, right? So if we just do that again, you notice it doesn't print it, it just prints this. There's also, no, isn't it? Yes, okay, no, it's not S. So there are quite a number of different separators, Python string manipulators that we can actually use to, maybe you want to format your string in a certain way. You might think that, why am I putting so much space between? You might want to format your string in a certain way. You might want to output your results as a table, and you want them to follow some space, or you want to create a kind of output file that is tab separated. So you can actually manually do that just by using this. You know, someone said something, one of these very popular people in the machine learning community. He said something a while ago about being able to use Python without the normal, all the super libraries that we use. And the people were like, it's important, it's not important. The key is understanding. Sometimes it could be important, sometimes it might not be. But the important thing is understanding what is available in Python, so that sometimes you don't go racking your head for something that can be so simple to achieve that already exists, and knowing how to do that. And when that one is not even available, you are able to do what you need to do. That's why many of the things are actually very important. I remember a time I was doing something and I had to be, okay, so we don't share the Jupyter file, but we already shared learning content that has this as PDFs that you can find. Okay, so we can share you other learning notebooks because the recording of this is available for you to watch actually. All right, so indexing and slicing is getting to the fun part now. In Python, strings are ordered sequences, remember, right? So that means we can actually select characters in the string by their order. That means I can choose to select, like I said earlier, the third character, the fourth character. But here's the thing. In Python, indexing doesn't start from 1. It starts from 0. Right? That's why, like the joke that says, when a programmer tells you you're number 1 in the person's life, you might actually be number 2 because it's counting from 0. So the difference is this, that if I say to Python 1, Python is thinking 0, 1. If I say to Python 2, Python is thinking 0, 1, 2. And that's actually 1, 2, 3 objects. So important to know, indexing starts at 0 and always will start at 0. In other languages, some languages doesn't actually start from 0. In R, it doesn't start from 0. I know that one. It doesn't start from 0 in R, it starts from 1. So, but in most languages, it starts from 0. So print word, and if we want to grab an object at a certain index, we call it index, the location, we use the square brackets, right? This is your square bracket, this is what it looks like. We use this, and we put the index of what we are looking for inside that square bracket. If I look for index 8, index 0, put inside the square bracket, and then it's printed. So we can check here. Hello, Hello. The index of H is 0, although it's the what? First element. Do we get? The index of E is 1, although it is the second character. Index of L, first L is 2, even though it is what? The third character. So, and that might be confusing at first, but just to become normal to you. And if you're like me, you might begin to even make the mistake of using it in like normal life and in English. Your indexing will start from 0. So don't worry, it might be still confusing at first, you get used to it. You get used to it. Don't be scared or confused at all. You're not scared, right? You're not confused. Awesome. So HELLO 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you count the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's still 5 characters. So I think it all still makes sense. So word, let's create a string. Hello is short. Let's do something longer. Let's call it. Give me a word, a long word. Yeah, like math. Like math. Huh? Ah, nice. You're in the right class. Welcome to data science and machine learning. Math is data science is for you. Okay, so word, print word, mathematics. How many characters are in mathematics? Can we count? Count it. 11, right? Okay. So what if I want to get the element 11. Let's try that. All you need to say is word, the variable, your square bracket, the index you're looking for. What will be the answer? What will be the answer to this? Eh? All right. If the answer will be S, raise your hand. S, team S. If the answer will be, okay, someone raised his hand. Idris, I see you. If the answer will be C, raise your hand. Shouldn't be C, should be. If the answer will be an error, raise your hand. Okay, let's see. Oh, index error. String index out of range. Why? Remember, indexing starts from 0. So there is no element 11 to Python. The last element will be 11 minus 1, 10. Beautiful. So now it's going to give us S. Same way, we can start counting. If we say element 1, no, you won't get M, you get A. So element 1 will be index A. I mean the index 0. The index of M is going to be 0. The index of, what's the index of E? But still, don't worry. It's going to stick. The index of yeah, I'm used to R. Yeah, our R people. Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, imagine for me, I've been using Python for so long. Starting R, I kept typing 0. I kept using -1 indexes or indices, and I was going to, oh, R starts from 1. So it's really, once you get it, you find it becomes second nature really. Index of, I'm looking for one that, what's the index of the second M? So you get used to it. Okay. What if we now, okay, let me get ahead of myself. So index 0, M, index 3. What element is that index 3? What element is that? What's the letter at index 3? H. Now you can also use reverse indexing in Python. Sometimes, imagine if you don't know how long the thing is, or you want the second to the last element, or you want the last element. You can always use reverse indexing. And reverse indexing just starts from the last element, and the last element will always be -1. Let's start on 0. Let's start on -0. There's no -0, right? So it has to be -1, and then -2, second to the last. So you can look at this table, makes it very clear. -1, -2, -3, that way backward. So using mathematics, let me do something like this here. Okay, no, let me do this. It's not efficient. So maybe so we can count together. 6. Oh, don't worry, I'm taking the mark down. See? And all right. So mathematics. What index? So what element will be printed? If we run this cell, what element will be printed? what element will create if you run this? S. What of if it's -2? Remember reverse indexing, -2, -6, -6, M. So reverse indexing starts from -1 and increments by 1. Yeah, so after 4, it's 0. So you see in the reverse index because you can't use, okay, so you can't use both indexing styles at the same time. You can, but you can't use them in the same, how do I put this? Okay, we can't have 2 indices with the same number. So we don't have any -5 here because the first index will always be 0. Huh? Yeah, it will work. I mean, okay, so if you do -5, that's actually really brilliant. If you use -5 for the hello, you will most likely get H, right? Yeah, you get H. But if you were taking it, so that's why I said you can't use, if you are using -6 towards, you are going towards your reverse. If you are going to go with the forward method, it will be -5. Do you get me? That's what I know. You know, Python is going to be short. It needs to be short to one, normal logical. So if you are talking about the 11th element, you're talking about index 10. If you're talking about the 12th element, you're talking about index 11. But once you go backward, it becomes kind of normal, right? So if you're going backward, yes, your negative index will be starting from -1. But when you get back to the first one, you can always use, what they call it now? For mathematics, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 elements. So if I say index word -11, it should give me M. Yeah, it gives me the first element actually. But if I said, for example, and the idea is, if I don't know how many, mathematics is a short word. If we have a sentence, how do I find the index? If I don't know how many characters are there. For example, we have, because word is mathematics, I think. Mathematics is a very cool subject. Okay, and I say, yeah, I say for ₦1,000,000 for whatever, what is the 13th element? Or how many characters are in the element, are in the string? Now, of course, there's a function you can use to find that out. You might not know it yet, it's just earlier. You can check the number of elements in the function, you can begin to work with that. But the idea is, for this kind of an element, for this kind of a string now, and you don't imagine if, or you are doing natural language processing, you have converted a page of a novel to a string. You've done that. Now you've taken a book, a PDF, and converted it to a string, because Python won't even read your PDF. Of course, there are libraries you can use for that. But the idea is, it's not a string. You don't know how many words are there. You don't even know how many characters are there, because your space is going to be counted as a character. Your full stop is going to be counted as a character. All your punctuations will be counted as characters. So all these things begin to count. So if you're using a negative indexing and you don't know maybe where you're starting, where you're stopping, but you always know, you will always know that the first element is, and the last element will always be -1. So for this kind of thing, I can't say, okay, I know my first element. Because I don't know, it's because you know that there are 5 elements there, and you can have -5 will give you the first element for that. So I hope that's clear. All right, so let's move on to slicing. Slicing is just how it sounds. Slice. Somebody actually looked for the 13th element. Please, it's just an example. So slicing is to slice, to cut, to partition, right? So we can grab subsections of a string, sections of a string, partitions of a string with this kind of a notation. The starting index, stop index, and then you want to move in maybe steps of 4, in 5, and 6. Let's have a very long string. Let's say alpha is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, T, U. Am I correct? X, Y, Z. You know, I'll just sing this one. A, B, C, D. Okay, so alpha is this. How many elements should this be? Huh? Are we correct? Yeah, cool. So now we want to print from 0, index 0, we slice till index. Remember, the code is, or the formula for slicing is start, stop, and step. Step is how many characters you want to take as a jump. So if I say step of 2, every 2 characters, step of 3, every 3 characters, step of 4, every 4 characters. Start, stop, step. So 0 to 3. Who wants to take a guess? I mean, it's already here, ABC. But you expect that Python index starts from 0 now. So index 0 to 3 should be 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Right? But when we print it, what do we get? We only get ABC. So as a rule, you must know the last index will not be included. The first one will, but the last one will not be included. So if I wanted D in this, it will not be 3, it will end at 4. Is it clear? I know you will say it's clear, but is it really clear? Yeah. So these things are just rules. There are no that's just how it has to be. So if we said 0 to 4, we are saying give me 3 elements. Sorry, 0 to 4, give me 0 to 4, give me 4 elements, right? In steps of 2. Take the first 4 elements. Let me tell you what we've done here. Take the first, remember, start, stop, step. Start at element 0 and end at element 4. Right? Then, but move, print, or take or slice every 2 elements. So it will definitely start at 0. C, it will jump C. It will jump this is jump. So it will jump C. It will start at A, 1. 2 will be what? B. It will jump B, but it will take C. Yeah, it will take C. So in the same way, let's make it longer. 5. 5 will end at A, B, C, D, E. It will end at E, right? Great. Let's confirm that. 5 will end at E. Great. Yeah. So this one is more intuitive. Because we know that if you are slicing 5, if you're in 5, we know that we're expecting 5 characters. So 5, and we want to, 5 is too small. We have long. So I want to move in steps of 3. So let's predict what's going to be the result. Let's record it. A what? D, G, J. No, I'm not doing it. You're the ones doing it too. Yes? K. ADG. Okay. Okay, someone says it's not clear. Yeah, I'll take it from the top. So I'll explain from the top. No, when we say the 10 here, we are actually counting up to the 11. So the J will be included. So let's do a table for ourselves. Okay? Let's do a little table. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Yeah, I'll explain the whole slicing thing from the beginning. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we can work with that. And then we'll say this is index 0. This is index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, index 6, index 7, index 8, index 9, index 10, index 11. Okay, let's paste. Let's be this. All right. Yeah, of course. But anyway, you can actually format your markdown as a proper table, right? Let's just leave that for now. So we know, so when we said alpha, we're slicing from 0. We are starting at 0, we're ending at 10. Yeah, so everyone, let's pay attention together. We can use the reference above. We're slicing at 0, A, we're ending at 10. 10 should be, no, A, B. Let me make this name. Let me see. Use this for just complete. Okay, that works. Yeah, so someone is raising his hand. Please just go ahead and type it in the chat, right? I don't really remember that command now, but this is smaller. So let's say we have, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is K. All right, L is 11. Great. So we're starting from A, we're ending at K. We're moving in steps of 3. The first element Python will pick is 1, 0. We're starting from A, we are going to 3. 1, 2, 3. No, 0, 1, 2, 3. D will be included. 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? Next, 3. 1. Then we now start 1, 2, 3. Basically, the idea is, imagine this. It's just like a normal counting actually. This A is your 0. It's already picked at the starting point. And the reason the last one is not included so that you count 1, 2, 3. The starting point, take it as it is. It's your starting point. It's not going to be counted. Again, when you're implementing. So A is selected. Starting point is A. The next 3 is what? 1, 2, 3. D. D is there. The next 3 after D is 1, 2, 3 is G. The next 3 after G is 1, 2, 3 J. Is it clear? Yes. So even if you are going to a million, whatever, it still continues. It will keep counting in steps of 3. The starting point is stated, is clear, is put down there. A is the starting point, after 3 so start from the last letter as starting point to accounting. Exactly. So A is your starting point. It's printed immediately because that's your starting point. And then we're going to 10K and instead was 3. So to check we understand, let's do 2 again. So if we said 2, we start from A, right? A is printed. Let's count that A is printed. And then the next one we want to C, 1, 2, E, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, but will K be printed? Why won't K be printed? Last index. Great. So I think we are cool with slicing. What if we sliced up to the 16th element? That means minus the 16th element. What's the 16th element? Let's see. What's actually the 16th element? Let's just check that out. So alpha, how do we check the 16th element? Alpha what? 16. So that's Q. Will Q be printed? No. In the same way, imagine we had a string of. Now, how many people have seen the question like write a code to print out every odd number or something like that between the numbers? So just imagine we had a string of. Because this is a string. The numbers will be strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9. Of course, 10 will be a string. Let's look it. But that's not what I want to do. But let's leave it like this, and just use this. So forget that alpha is like alphabet. It's just a variable name. It can be anything, right? So we have 9 things. Let's include 0, please. Just your zeros. We're still going to do this same thing again when we get to our data structures of list. Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah, there are 9 things now. Yeah. No. So your length is normal. How many actual elements are inside? How many actual elements are in this string? Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 9 elements, right? But the index will now be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are we confused? I think some people are confused. Please, if you are confused, let me know. Are we confused? So the length is counting how many actual elements are inside. Totally different from index. For index, it will start from 0. Okay, Alom, I see your hand. It will start from 0 and it will count 0. 1 will be index 0. Remember, like we did for A, B, C, D, E. And 2 will be index 1. 3 will be index 2. That's not the value, that's the index, the position. Is that clear? Is that clear? I'm looking around, I want to be sure. Online, okay, it's clear online. Okay, someone that was confused before, it's clear now. Good. So we can move on. So now let's do the same thing we did. We want to move from, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we want to move from the first element, which is 0, to the, if we stop at the 9th element, will number 9 be included? Beautiful. We're on point. We've gotten it now. Okay. And we want to go with steps of 2. That means somebody is asking what is the application of this indexing and slicing. I don't even know what to say. This is the heart of, I want to say this is the heart of everything we are going to be doing in the next few weeks. There's going to be a lot of, okay, someone has a question or something? I'm trying to look through the chat. Okay, no, all right. Don't, I can read the YouTube chat and the Zoom chat at the same time. So please go ahead and answer. So application of indexing and slicing here. Imagine, like we said, we want to find we have a code and we want, imagine all your, you know what I will do? I will, before the next class, you see your quiz scores on the student attendance. Then in the next class, I will show you the code that will pick out your scores from the Excel sheet and then put it where it should be. And then you will see a very, very good application of indexing and slicing. Because now, if we know that, I want to know your score. Imagine you are number 11 on that list, and the list is ordered, right? Every time I call for the elements at index 11, it will always be U. If imagine this as a string of say student records. Every time you call for index 0, it will always be who? The first person. Every time you call for index, okay, let's take numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Index 2 will always be. Index 4 will always be. If you're index 4 here, raise your hand. Beautiful. If you're index 3, raise your hand. We are getting the idea. If you are so the same way, 0, 1, 2, get it? If you are index 5 here, raise your hand. Beautiful. If you are index 4 here, raise your hand. Beautiful. If you are index 7 here, raise your hand. I'm looking at you, sir. Huh? Index 7 is him. So I showed us how we are counting it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So indexing is very important to giving orders. Order. The idea is being able to retrieve something at a particular position. And we'll be seeing when we get to lists and other things where we store data. And we're going to do a lot of that. Maybe we use it as an example. We use our names or other things and we try to find out. I mean, because that's really dealing with small. I think I'll do that and I'll show us a very live example. That imagine we have, for example, we did I think last time we did AI, I think it was a pre-boot camp qualification. We had about 3,000 students. And we want to show the scores for each student. And if I'm looking for student with student ID 400, would I have to scroll down to 400? And imagine you have to scroll down every time. No, you just know that index is 400. Okay, if the ID is 400, ID actually starts from 1. So that means index of 1 is going to be. It's going to be what? It's going to be 0. Right. So it's 12 already. We're rounding up now. So that's about slicing. I know that you might still seem a bit, but we're going to continue from there in the next class. We've already shared content that will help you to get started and to actually cover everything you need on this slicing and indexing. So what we've done today is an introduction to string methods, and we'll be stopping there for today. I hope slicing is clear. If it's not clear, don't worry, we are starting directly from the beginning of slicing the next class. It's a very key thing that we must understand, and we will understand it. Okay, so if you have questions, follow up, we can, okay, someone gets the idea, great. We can, use the group chat, type it out, check it out. Yeah, so that'll be all for today. Thank you very much, everyone. And we are going to start from there in the next class. So expect your quiz. It will be on the info pack and the recording for this session as well. I hope we're able to make some progress in our learning today. Awesome. So see you all. All right. Thank you. Class was dope. Okay. Our online people, those guys are really amazing. Thank you all so much. So see you on the next class. Thank you for coming today. So if you have questions, particular question you want to ask, please use the WhatsApp chat and we will try to answer as much as we can. Okay, great.